I am Victoria, Queen of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, and later in my reign, Empress of India. My journey as sovereign began on June 20, 1837, when at the tender age of 18 I ascended the throne following the death of my uncle, King William IV. Little did I know that my reign would span 64 years, making me the longest reigning monarch of my time. When I became queen, Britain was at the height of the Industrial Revolution. Cities were bustling with innovation, and railways were stitching the kingdom together, transforming trade, travel, and daily life. I embraced this era of change, believing it was my duty to represent the progress and prosperity of my people. Yet the weight of the crown was immense, and I leaned heavily on the counsel of my beloved Prime Minister Lord Melbourne during those early years. In 1840, I married my true love, Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Albert was not merely my husband, he was my confidant, my advisor, and my partner in all things. Together, we championed causes close to our hearts, such as education, science, and the arts. Albert's vision for the Great Exhibition of 1851 at the Crystal Palace was a testament to our shared belief in showcasing Britain's ingenuity to the world. It was a triumph, drawing millions of visitors and cementing our nation's reputation as a global leader. Our personal life, too, was full of joys and trials. Albert and I were blessed with 9 children, whom we raised with a blend of royal protocol and familial affection. We hoped to instill in them a sense of duty and morality, as their marriages would weave alliances across Europe. Yet tragedy struck in 1861, when Albert was taken from me by typhoid fever. His death plunged me into a deep mourning from which I thought I might never emerge. For years I wore black, avoided public appearances, and sought solace at Balmoral Castle in Scotland, a retreat Albert and I had cherished. Though grief defined much of my later reign, I found purpose in my role as a symbol of stability during times of upheaval. The British Empire expanded rapidly, encompassing territories in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. In 1876, Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli bestowed upon me the title of Empress of India, further solidifying Britain's imperial dominion. While I took pride in the empire's reach, I could not ignore the complexities and challenges of governing such a vast and diverse realm. My reign also saw significant social and political reforms. The Chartist movement, the repeal of the Corn Laws, and the extension of suffrage through the Reform Acts marked shifts toward greater inclusivity in British governance. I often found myself navigating the delicate balance between upholding tradition and embracing progress. While I was not always comfortable with change, I recognized its inevitability and sought to guide it in ways that would strengthen the nation. In my later years, I became known as the Grandmother of Europe, a title earned not only through the marriages of my children and grandchildren into various royal families, but also through the wisdom and experience I brought to my role. As the century turned, I reflected on the extraordinary transformation of Britain under my watch. From the industrial might of Manchester to the distant colonies of India and Africa, I had presided over an empire unparalleled in its scope and influence. When I passed away on January 22, 1901, at the age of 81, I left behind a legacy that would define an era. The Victorian Age was a time of remarkable progress, empire building, and cultural flourishing. Yet it was also an era marked by stark inequalities and challenges that would shape the future.